I want to preach today about Romans chapter number 9. Wow, man. Romans chapter 9 for me was, it was life changing. It really was the beginning of the gospel for me. Um, it opened up doors to me that I didn't even know existed. I mean, it provided such a freedom for me that lasted for so long afterwards. I could not shake the joy that I had whenever I finally started to hear what people were saying about this chapter. Um, if you've ever heard of John Piper's testimony regarding Romans 9, the way he thought about God before he came across Romans 9, I was very similar. Very similar. Whenever you hear him talk about the way he used to think about God and the way he used to think about salvation or good deeds. Just listen. I wish I knew the link. I wish I could remember the link that I heard him talk about this because it was very. I, I could relate to it a lot. Um, but it was my calling. I was living with my mom. I was 23 years old, and I was living with my mom, and I was unemployed. And God just called me in the room. He just called me in the room. He filled the room. I didn't ask him to. I mean, I was discouraged, but he just showed up unannounced or unasked for, or I don't know how to describe it. I didn't say, God, come into the room or not anything like that. He just filled the room. And I thought, whoa, that's God. I was overwhelmed, and after that, I just had a joy that lasted. I mean, it was amazing when I had that experience. It was like I just felt different. I Nothing has been the same since that day. Um, but what's strange to me is I was 23 when that happened. But when I was 29, this was 6 years after that fact, I was at work, working 12-hour nights. And I was sitting in a chair in a manufacturing plant, an assembly line. And I felt the blood of Christ come down onto my spirit, unannounced. Now, right before this, he lifted demons off of my spirit. I'm at work, I'm doing my job. I'm just doing my job, just working. And all of a sudden, I feel demons lifted off of my spirit. I thought, whoa, I know what that means because I've heard about that. I've heard of this. I know what just happened to me. And it's like everything just gets brighter, you know. And shortly after that, I felt his blood come down onto my spirit. And I had to go to a woman that I knew was a Christian that I worked with. And I said, Lynn, I just got saved. I have to go tell somebody because I'm sitting here and it happens to me. And I'm like, I know what just happened to me. I just got saved. And I'm looking around at everybody and everybody's just doing their jobs. You know, that was really strange to me. I'm like, you don't know what just happened to me. I just got saved. And everybody's just kind of, doing their jobs. So I had to go tell a woman that I knew was a Christian. I said, I just got saved, Lynn. She's like, you did? I said, yeah. She said, just you and the Lord, huh? I said, yeah. Oh my goodness. I hope I always remember that day. I hope I don't forget that day. Even though I know I'm not going to forget the fruit of it. You know, you can't forget salvation once you have it. It's eternal. But I just hope that throughout the rest of my days, I remember that day like, whoa, that day was just amazing. And shortly after that, the timeline gets kind of fuzzy. It's a similar timeline. But I had a mental breakdown about dying. I was terrified of dying, and it's taken me many. It's taken me a long time to deal with the anxiety about dying. Um, but I went to the mental hospital, and I had an out of body experience. I'm so my anxiety is overwhelming me, and so I go to the mental hospital and I'm laying in the bed, and I said, God, I'm ready to go. Just get this over with. I'm terrified. I'm ready to go. Let's just get this over with. And so I laid down in the bed, and I'm so anxious. I have so much anxiety that I'm like, let's go. Let's get this over with. I'm ready to die. And then the Lord took my spirit and lifted it out of my body just a little bit and put it back in. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay. And then shortly after this, I go to church for the first time since I was a kid. And I go there, and they're having, he's preaching outside. And I believe he was praying, and everybody was standing beside our car outside the church. And they were really nice to me. I love them. I love them very much. I'll never forget that day. They were so kind to me. I love them. And he went to pray. And I closed my eyes and knelt my head down. And my soul felt like it was just stretched to an infinite length. I just felt that's the best way I can describe it. It was not negative. It was not bad. My soul just felt like it was elongated. I could feel like my soul was a lot larger than I thought. You know, it just got stretched, and it was beautiful. And in the time since then, I've always wanted more of those experiences, and it gets kind of sad when your everyday life is not like that. Not every day's like that, and I honestly find that depressing. That not every day is like that. That there's a lot of monotony, and it's mundane, and you have to work, and you know, I wish I could have those experiences in a constant state. Life gets really dreary and just kind of, cloudy, and it drags on. It drags on. When you've had experiences like that, you just want them to last forever. And in the meantime, it's really just, how can I put it? The Lord has a purpose for bringing it on His timeline. That's the part that you have to say. Because for me, I wish I could go back and stay in those moments and just live there. But God doesn't want me to do that. He hasn't let me do that. There's a timeline that He's got for everything He wants me to do, every event that He wants me to be a part of. There's a timeline there. And I think that's what trust is about. It's like, when we know we have heaven, we want to get there right now. I want to get there right now. I want to be there right now. Once you know you have it, you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for it. But the Bible says we're supposed to wait with patience because the hope is promised. It's promised. That's what salvation is. Once you get saved, it's a promise that you hope for. You know it's going to, the word hope means it's there. It's a promise. But when you don't have it, when you're not there, let's put it that way. You know you have it. You will have it. You're saved now. You'll be saved in the future. You're eternally saved. But I'm not in heaven. I'm on earth. You see what I'm saying? So there's a hope. Now the hope is a certainty, but it's a hope because it's not. I'm not in heaven right now. That's where the word hope comes from. The hope means I'm not in heaven right now, but I know I will be. That's why we have hope. So, um, yeah, hopefully that helps you. Uh, I love I love being able to give my testimony. It makes me so happy to be able to share my testimony. Hopefully, it will encourage you in your testimony. Hopefully, you have your own testimony. And my prayer is that when we share our testimonies, we don't judge each other's testimonies. I don't want to judge anybody's testimony and say that didn't happen or that's not right. A testimony is a personal thing between you and God, and I think sharing it can be edifying, but I feel like it's too easy to judge other people's testimonies, and I think we need to be a little careful about that. Myself especially, the testimony that I had was so amazing for me that if someone else gives me a testimony, I want to believe every word they say because I know how miraculous my testimony was. Okay, I'm gonna get off here.